So this is a Buccaneer Cruiser. Going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. Front of the van, the hitch up procedure. We've got a separate video for this, and this will be sent over to you separately. Handbrake, cable, power cable to the car, and jockey wheel. Again, that will all be explained in the separate video. Front locker, you've got your gas bottle with gas valve on top, on and off. Anti-clockwise is on and clockwise is off. Gas fitment at the top here, or gas regulator, where you can actually have two bottles connected at the same time, and you can change it over on the changeover valve just here. You simply spin it round and that will go round to the gas bottle on the opposite side. Grey waste pipe in the front locker there, and also direct water connection pipe work down in the front there of the locker. Down this side of the van, you haven't got your wind down legs on either side like this van. I'll demonstrate the self-levelling in a moment and show you how that operates. But at the minute, as you can see, it's all down and ready to go inside of. Water pump connected on the outside, so you'll connect the pump in the side of the van. Very simple to do, you pull out and push in. Lock it, just lock the grey cover down onto the top of the tab here, just so it keeps it in place. And the pump end will drop down inside the aqua roll itself. Outside dog shower, if you wish to have a dog shower connected to the outside of the van, you can run it off the water system inside the van. Heating flue on the front of the van for the gas systems on board the van. You've then got your battery box and your mains power lead coming in the side of the van also. Power socket also at the top here for the motor mover itself, which I'll demonstrate later in the video. Motor mover and wheel nuts, again, as I said, I'll demonstrate the mover later on, but then the wheel nuts will be torqued before you receive the van, and we do advise that you check the torque on the wheel nuts before travelling, just so you know they are correct before you travel off down the road. Toilet system at the back of the van, very simple to use. You pull it out, you'll put 1 litre of water in here and a cap full of the blue fluid, the cap being this cap just here. You've got an orange pressure relief button on the back, so when you're tipping the waste away out the cassette, it doesn't spit and splatter back at you, and you'll empty it through the neck here. Handle at the bottom, you can pull out, so you can pull the cassette along, a bit like your luggage bag when you're going through the airport, for instance. Similar sort of idea. So you can drag that through to where you need to empty it on the site you're on. Back of the van again, either side at the back, self-levelling, as you can see, both legs down and in place. I'll demonstrate that later on. The grey waste pipes come out the side here and they drop down into your waste master itself. Round to the other side of the van now. Got a mains gas barbecue point at the front here. Fitment will push into place and then turn the gas supply on by turning this valve round so it runs in line with the pipe work. Then got your storage locker for underneath in the front seats, as you can see, going through to the storage area. You've then got your gas bottles, gas flues and heat flues for the side of the heater system, for the fridge system. And you've got your other storage locker at the back of the van that goes underneath the bed. So as you can see, we've now come on the inside of the caravan. Down by the door, you'll notice the control panel for the self-leveling, which, like I said, I will come back to at the end of the video. And also the controls there for the motor mover and the hand remote for the self-leveling as well. But above that, you've got your main control panels for the caravan. You've got your switches there for power on and off. You've got your lighting switches for around the top of the cabinet, etc. Lighting switches for the outside of the van on the left and right hand side here. Water pump run. Internal fill and external, which again I'll come back to. Voltmeter to show you what power's in the battery, and the onboard water tank level just there. So it's at 60% at the moment. So the P is percent and 60% is filled currently. Above that, you've got your control panel for your heating and hot water. So you go menu, and at the top here, you've got your temperature internally for the caravan. So you've got temperature up and temperature down. Water temperature below, so you've got water on and water boost. You've then got the power that's coming into the caravan from the site you're on. So you've got off if you want to run gas solely. You can run 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatt or 3 kilowatt coming in. You'd have to ask on the site you're going to what power source you can run your heating and hot water on and select the relevant kilowatts here. At the bottom, if you want to operate the heating and hot water on gas, you'll simply hit the gas button at the bottom and that will ignite the gas system for the water heating and heating. You've got some options in here that is more for the engineers, but again, if you go through the manual on this, it will explain these in full detail. You can turn the control panel off by hitting the power button just here. I'm just going to turn the water heating back on so you can see it's warmed up. As you see, power on and off just here. And we do advise you turn this off before you turn off the caravan power itself. So you go over to the taps. I have actually filled the water system with it. So to fill the water system, you'd have the aqua roll connect on the outside, as you've seen. You'll open up each tap. As you can see at the moment, it has already got water in the system and it should be warm once it comes through. There we go, it's starting to get warm now. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the steam coming off it today, but it is warm and plenty hot enough to have a shower with. In fact, a little bit too hot to have a shower with, in my opinion. So you just control the temperature of the water on the taps as you would at home. But you'd open all the taps up to fill the water system as I just did. So you'd open the taps up fully on the hot side. You'd go down into the bathroom and open the tap up on the sink, as you can see again. And again with the shower. Do advise when you're bleeding the water system to put the shower head in the sink just so it doesn't squirt all over the van. And when you drain it down, we do advise that you leave the shower head right down in the bottom of the tray, and I'll go through the drain down of it in a moment. But like I said, you'll have all taps open to bleed the water system. You then come underneath the bed at the back of the van and make sure the valve on the back half of the tank just here says closed on it, as you can see. If you want to drain the water system down, which I will do in a moment, you'd actually turn that valve the opposite way around so the water system drains down completely before you put the caravan into storage. You can actually check inside the tank as well to make sure you've got water by taking this cap off. As you can see, there is water in there at the moment. We never advise to drink from the water systems on board the van, just in case anything has managed to get into them at all. Even if it has got a filter system on it, again, do advise drinking bottled water when you're in the vans. So, as I said, all the taps open. You'll come underneath the seat, down underneath here, at the front of the van, and make sure the other drain down valve is shut where your hot water tank is. So there's your tap just there. So you'd make sure it's in the shut position as it is now. So parallel with the floor is water valve shut off so the water system can be filled. When that's pointing upright towards the bottom of the seat, which I'm going to do in a second, and once I've shown you the controls of filling it, that would actually drain the water system completely down. Next to that, you've got your mains control unit, as you'd expect to see at home. So your 240 trip switches and your 12 volt fuses below, and below them is a description of what each one is for. Motor mover control box is also in the cabinet, and your hot water tank just down the front there with a gas shut off valve should you ever need to shut the gas off to it. To fill the system, you'll make sure the aqua roll's filled on the outside. You'll come up to the control switch just here, make sure the power's on the left hand side, and then you'll run internal. So you'll put the pump onto internal, and that will fill the water system from the water tank on the outside. If you just want to run off the aqua roll from the outside of the van, you can put it onto external, and that will essentially just run from the aqua roll on the outside instead of filling up the onboard tank underneath the bed at the back there. When you've got the water system full, you'll put the switch back to the central position, and that's when you'll get water coming out of all the taps on board the van. To drain the system down, you'll turn the control panel off, or turn the power off to the pump itself. Come underneath the seat on the far side. Oh, you actually open up all the taps first, ignore me. We'll open up all the taps again first. You will get water run out for a few seconds. The reason you open all the taps up for is to allow all the water to come out of the tap system. When you are draining them, you put it to the central position between the hot and the cold and open up the tap. Again, same on the shower. And I'll do the same on the sink as well. There we go, so that's completely open. And also at that point, you turn off your control panel when you drain the water system down, just so the heating isn't trying to carry on running. So that's your water system draining off. Once you've undone this valve just here. I do apologise for the this valve open on the hot water system. And the same with the tank in the back here. You will hear it glug and spit and spatter down onto the floor. So that is your water system draining down. To operate the microwave, very simple to do. You'll notice at the minute it looks like it's turned off, which will only work on 240 mains. Hit the eco button and it will wake the microwave back up. And then you've got your controls at the bottom here for controlling the power and temperature, etc. of the fridge and time settings. You've then got your fridge, which you've got power off just here. So you've got power back on. Gas, it will self-ignite on gas. If it fails to ignite on gas for any reason, it'll actually flash the red light on the right hand side. And on gas or mains, you can control the temperature of the fridge on the right hand side. If it does fail to ignite, simply turn the fridge off and try to reignite again, and also make sure the gas bottle is turned on. If you're on 240 mains and you want to use the fridge as a normal fridge, you can put it onto the plug symbol just here. Again, that will work normally. If you want to use 12 volt when you're towing down the road, you can put it onto 12 volt, and what that will do is when you connect it to a car at the front, it'll actually turn the fridge into a cool box. As you see at the moment, it's telling me there is no power connected through the 12 volt supply. We'll turn the fridge back off for now. Just going to show you everything working on the hob. So the red light here indicates to me that the electric ring at the back there is working. Can't really show you the heat coming off that one. Gas, hob. As you can see, all three rings ignited as you'd expect them to. Grill next we'll go to. Grill ignited. And then cooker ignited as well. The first time you actually come in, once the gas has been off, it may be a case if you need to hold the gas valve in for a little bit longer, so you need to hold in the valve, ignite for instance. Keep holding the gas valve for around 5 to 10 seconds just to allow it all to warm up and get the gas through. And then slowly release the valve on the front. So that's your cooker system all working as you'd expect. Carpets underneath the bed as well, so they're tucked away for safe storing. Toilet system, very simple to use. Electric flush that runs off the water system on board the van. Red indicator light here will actually let you know when the toilet cassette is full. The toilet does turn for your convenience, however when you are emptying the cassette from underneath the van, you need to make sure it's pointing straight across to the shower. And then you have a waste flap on the bottom here to allow the waste to go into the cassette underneath the van. So that's the operation of the van internally. I'm now going to turn the power off inside the van and go over to the power system for the self-leveling. So all the power is now turned off, as you can see. Control panel turned off, and the control panels for everything else inside the van. So at the moment the legs are down, as you saw previously. So you've got power on for the legs. The light here is indicating to me that the legs are actually down. The green light in the centre here is indicating to me that the van is level and central. Blue power light in the corner to let you know the control panel's on. To put the legs down, you'll press the auto button that you see just here. And to get the legs to come up, you'll press the bottom one just here. Power on and off for the control panel, and an emergency stop should you ever need to use it. So I'm going to demonstrate the legs going up to you now, so I'm just going to press the button. As you can hear, the whole time the system is operating, it will actually beep or make a sound so you know it is doing it. You'd never go inside the van while it is trying to self-level or when the legs are coming up. But to put the legs back down, again, very simple to do. You'd just press the auto button inside on the control panel. That is also the same for the handheld remote down there. You'd need to turn the power on here. And as you can see, it comes on and then it's still initializing itself. That does take quite a while when it hasn't been turned on for a while, so I'm just going to turn that back off for now. I'll also turn off the control panel just here. So that's the control panel turned off as well. Now with the motor mover, very simple to do. You come around to the opposite side of the van. We'll just disconnect the water as well while we're around here. The water pump itself, when you receive the van, will actually be in the front locker. And then you disconnect the power before you turn the motor mover on, as you can see. So to initially turn the power on, you've got the red key in the locker here, and you've got the connection just here at the top. You'll put the key in to place, and you'll turn the power on. Once you've done that, you'll come around to the opposite side of the van and grab the control for the motor mover, and you'll press both green buttons just here, which will turn the control on, as you can see. So the control is now completely on. At that point, you need to engage the motor movers against the wheel. So to do that, you press the central button and the green button here. And you'll notice at that point, the movers start pushing themselves up against the wheel. Once it's stopped again making a noise, you'll hear it whirring to start with when it's engaged against the wheel. Once it's stopped doing that, you can come to the front of the van, release the handbrake, and in theory we should have forwards, backwards, as you can see just there on the control, turns, and turn, and the same for the rear on both sides. And to get the caravan to turn on the spot, you hit the two buttons opposite each other and the caravan will spin on its spot rather than push forward at the same time. Once you've used the motor mover, you'll put the handbrake back on. You'll press the central button again and the red button on this side, which will then disengage the movers. And you'll never turn the power off to the controller or the power in the side of the van itself until the movers have completely stopped. Once they have stopped making a noise, give it 5 to 10 seconds and the movers may again start making another noise, which may continue for about a second or two. And once that noise has stopped, which, as you could hear there, it did actually start moving again, and that is just to centralise itself again for the next use. At that point you can turn the controller off with the two green buttons, he says, which as you can see the controller is now turned off. You can turn the power off in the side locker, and you can leave the key in the side locker itself. Control is up to yourselves. I'm going to leave it inside the door for you when the caravan arrives with you, but you can keep that in the car or in the caravan itself. But that is the Buccaneer Cruiser. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions at all, please do give us a call here at the Caravan Company and we'll be more than happy to help.